Coming up on this episode of Rambler Sports Locker, the Ramble is back with Kihmm asking some of our reporters about Bulls season predictions.
Plus, we will get to know the newest members of the Loyola men's golf team. I'm Joey Knese.
And I'm Andrea Barone.
All this and so much more.
The Rambler Sports Locker begins now. Welcome back to another episode of the Rambler Sports Locker. The Loyola men's golf team is looking promising this season, coming off an 11th place finish at the Tom Tontomonia Invitational out in Westlake, Ohio over the weekend. There's a few new freshmen on the team we'll get to know later on, but how about the Ramblers we do know? 8 former men's basketball players are performing at the professional level.
Speaking of pro basketball, the Chicago Bulls started their preseason this Tuesday. The game did end in a loss to the New Orleans Pelicans, 129-125, but I hope they'll turn it around for the regular season.
The Loyola men's golf team is off a solid finish last weekend, and talent runs deep with this team. Here's Vanesa Hoxha with the 411 on 2 freshman golfers to watch this season and new Blers on the block.
Welcome everyone to the very first segment of New Blers on the Block. I'm Vanesa Hoxha, and I'll be highlighting Loyola freshmen who will be recognized for either their outstanding performance, sportsmanship, or just an honorable mention. Today, 2 pairing rookies on the men's golf team, Charlie Colwyn and Sebastian Kassoon, made quite the dynamic duo at the Tom Tontomonia Invitational on October 3rd in Westlake, Ohio. Colwyn and Kassoon only finished 1 shot apart from each other. At the end of the second round, Colwyn had a total of 150 strokes, and Kassoon had a total of 151. Both freshmen landed in 41st place. Congratulations to the rookie, and keep up the hard work. Make sure to tune in next time for another segment of New Blers on the Block, where I highlight another rookie Rambler. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Vanesa Hoxha.
Thanks, Vanessa. It's great to know the Ramblers and even better to see former Ramblers succeed. Executive producer Gabbi Lumma attended the Chicagoland Tip-Off Media Luncheon, where she caught up with the Loyola men's and women's basketball teams.
I'm here at the Water Tower Place in the Chicago Sports Museum, where the 2022 Chicagoland Media Tip-Off Luncheon was held on October 6th. The luncheon featured head coaches and athletes from the men's and women's teams from Loyola, Chicago State, DePaul, Northwestern, and the University of Chicago. The luncheon was an opportunity for coaches and players to talk about their seasons with the media and also converse with other schools. From Loyola, men's basketball head coach Drew Valentine was accompanied by redshirt senior guard Braden Norris and sophomore forward St. Thomas. Women's basketball head coach Allison Guth was accompanied by 3 of her players, senior guard Sam Gallinopoulos, senior forward Julia Heffling, and senior guard Jayla Johnson. The 2 coaches were able to speak during a coaches panel and talk about things they're excited for this season.
Went to Paris, and while we were there, it was great for our guys to get to have new experiences with one another. You know, when you're, at different restaurants or you're touring different museums or whatever it might be, you can get to learn people in a deeper way, get to see what their perspective might be on something.
For the women's side, Guth talked about her excitement as a first-year head coach at Loyola and how she's bringing her team together for the season.
We have our work cut out for us. I think if you ask Sam, Juice, and Jayla every day, we're very process-driven. It's a concept from Coach Bruno, but we are preparing for a faceless opponent. We have so much programmatic to set.
Both coaches expressed their eagerness to get started with their seasons, especially in the new Atlantic 10 Conference. With the college basketball season just 32 days away, both teams have their exhibition game on October 30th. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm executive producer Gabbi Lumma.
Thanks, Gabby. The NBA preseason is upon us, and our reporters have the breakdown on their predictions for the Bulls season. Coming up next is The Ramble.
Howdy do, everyone, and welcome back to The Ramble. I'm Kihmm here with Omari Salisbury, Trenton Jackson, and Oliver Allen. We've got another exhilarating segment today with this week's buzzing question that's got everyone talking. Will the Chicago Bulls be playoff contenders this year? Now, with the NBA season just around the corner and preseason games taking place at the United Center, we can make some predictions as to where they will end up being in the mid-seeded in the Eastern Conference this year. So, I'm going to go ahead and start it off with you, Omari, and I'd like to hear what you have to say.
I'm not even going to say that the Bulls are bad or not even a good team. I'm just going to say that there's a lot of better teams in the East right now that actually improved in the offseason where they didn't. What they got going on for them? Lonzo came back off an injury. He still might get injured again. Y'all still don't got a real center yet. But guess what? The Hawks just got DeJounte Murray. You got the 76ers with James Harden taking pay cuts. You got all these other teams making bigger moves to actually improve this offseason where the Bulls didn't. And don't forget about Ben 10 actually playing for the Nets this season. That might actually be scary. So they might be lucky if they just even make it into the play-in, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, I think the Bulls are still going to be a really good team this year. I think they can be around the middle of the pack, maybe like 4, 5, 6 seedish. Although they didn't make any major splash moves in the offseason, they're bringing that same roster back from last year, have more continuity. Levine's not going to be hurt. He had surgery in the offseason. You still need Lonzo to come back, but even without Lonzo, Ayo Dosunmu showed he could feel for Lonzo in that spot. They have Dalen Terry now, who they just drafted. They also got Goran Dragic, another veteran backup point guard. And then we saw what DeRozan did last year. It's going to carry over to next season. And with, like I said, with another year just being together, it's going to add more chemistry. So, yeah, I think they're going to be a really good team next year still.
I think that the Bulls might be off to a bit of a slow start this year. In games that Lonzo Ball played last year, the Bulls were 22-13. Without him, 24-23. I just don't think that they're really going to get it going as they did last year. They went off to a hot start, and they ended the season 7-15 and limped into the playoffs. I think this is a team that's going to struggle a bit, and we'll see how it goes.
Alrighty, those are some interesting predictions. Now, I got some pens and sticky notes here, and I'm going to give you guys each a sticky note, and I want you to write down a prediction for where the Bulls will be by December 8th, so around mid-season-ish before playoffs. And I want you to write down what seed they'll be. So here's some stickies, a few pens here and All right, well, I'll start off with myself. I'm going to go ahead and say the Bulls are going to be 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. I think they're going to start off really strong. And with Lonzo Ball coming back, I think they'll do pretty well. Trent?
I also said it's going to be the 4th seed. Like I said, the other teams have made a lot of additions, so it's going to take time for those teams to really get continuity, like the Nets with Ben Simmons, the Hawks with DeJounte Murray. They got to get that chemistry for the season, and I think the Bulls will come in strong. They're going to try to build off last year. So, yeah, 4th seed around that time.
I said the Bulls were probably going to be an 8th seed around that time. It's probably going to – you're right. They might start off pretty strong, but I don't see them actually being able to carry out that momentum throughout the season.
I, as well, have the Bulls as the 8th seed. I have them coming off to a bit of a slow start. That being said, I think with a fully healthy Bulls team in the second half, I think they can sneak into the playoffs and maybe make a deep run.
Alrighty, well, we'll keep these up here until December 8th, and we'll come back and visit those. We'll definitely be looking forward to this season and this year, and if they can take down Steph Curry and the reigning champs, the Golden State Warriors. Now, speaking of pro basketball, some of our former Ramblers are beginning their own professional careers. Here's Elizabeth Winchester with more.
8 former Rambler basketball players have recently began their 2022 to 2023 professional seasons. These 8 players will be playing professional basketball either in the States or overseas this season. Marcus Towns plays for the Duna Ashvita in Hungary and began his season on September 30th. Milton Doyle has joined the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers in the Australian NBL and began his season on October 1st. Recent Loyola graduate Lucas Williamson is in training camp with the Los Angeles Clippers after signing an Exhibit 10 contract. Williamson's 2021 to 2022 Loyola teammate Ryan Schwieger is competing for the Rashta Fischkita in German Pro A League. Ahir Ugwak began his career with the Edmonton Stingers in the Canadian Elite Basketball League during the 2022 season. 2021 NBC Player of the Year Kenwin Krutwig is off to a great start with the Blackwater Bossing Elite in the Filipino PBA. Dante Ingram, one of the most prolific scorers for Loyola, is producing excellent results for his team, Dimano Bucharesti, in the Romanian Liga. We look forward to seeing what these 8 former Ramblers do next. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Elizabeth Winchester.
To wrap things up, here's a quick recap and preview of some Loyola sports matches. The Loyola women's soccer team played in 2 home matches this week against A10 rivals Davidson College and Dayton University. Both matches ended with a final of 1-0 in the favor of the visitors, and the Ramblers now find themselves 6-5-2 and 2-3 in conference play with 5 matches left. The Ramblers hope to get back on track in their next match this Saturday, October 8th, as they travel to Philadelphia to face off against St. Joseph's University. Kickoff is set for noon, and you'll be able to watch the game on ESPN+. The men's soccer team went on the road this past week to play against St. Louis University and Virginia Commonwealth University. They lost to the Billikens 2-1 and drew to the VCU Rams 2-2, earning themselves a point in the A10 standings. The Ramblers are currently in 9th place with an A10 record of 1-2-1 and an overall record of 5-2-3.
The Loyola women's golf team finished in 5th place after 54 holes this weekend at the Shirley Spork Invitational. The Ramblers are coming home after this strong win for the first time since 2019, where they will host the Parkinson Invitational October 10th and 11th. In Loyola women's volleyball news, junior Carly McNabb was named Atlantic 10 Player of the Week. The Ramblers went to battle at the Chaffetz Pavilion against the St. Louis Billikens and came out on top. With help from McNabb's 16 kills, the Ramblers secured victory over the Billikens. This makes the 8th win in the past 11 matches for Loyola. The women are tied for first place with rival Davidson College and turn their attention towards Duquesne as they continue their road trip to Pittsburgh.
The Loyola men's cross-country team secured its first Loyola Lakefront Invitational title since 2005 on September 30th. The Ramblers were led by 3 graduate students, Ryan Martins, Chris Devaney, and Blank Bicey, who all finished in the top 5. The women's cross-country team finished 7th in the race and were led by sophomore Nora Wolin, who finished in 8th place and 40 seconds faster than her previous record. The regular season comes to a close on October 14th at the Bradley Pink Classic in Peoria.
That's a wrap on this episode of the Rambler Sports Locker.
To stay up to date on all things Loyola sports, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Loyola RSL and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From all of us here at Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Joey Knese.
And I'm Andrea Barone.
And don't forget to turn out the lights.